Niger State Governor Mohamed Umar Bago raises concern about the negative effect of climate change, saying it is partly responsible for the spate of insecurity being witnessed in the country. He says the effects of climate change are underreported, adding that climate change should be critically managed by the government and experts because of its adverse effect on the people and the economy. He identified flooding, desertification, environmental pollution, and more as the problem. Bargo says despite efforts being made, the devastating effect of climate change are recorded yearly. He further attributed some cases of insecurity to climate change, which deserves priority attention. He added that proper coverage of the effect of climate change by the media can set agenda for the legislature and indeed the executive. He further reveals that his administration is prioritizing climate change to mitigate natural and man-made disaster with a decision to convoke a green economy summit. So joining us to discuss the major topic is the CEO, Viva City Development, Oluwakemi Areola. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, ma'am. So it has been reported that climate change has altered our environment and ecosystem. And in fact, the Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Abubakar Abakiari, says climate change has been responsible for not only consequential effects on the food systems, but has been the single largest contributor to insecurity in agriculture, as farmers could no longer find enough land for farming in the way they used to, including those in the fishing and pastoralist communities. As the CEO, I'm asking you this question, ma'am. As the CEO of Viva Development, how well do you explain the negative impact of climate change on our economy?
Climate change has a vast amount of negative effects that it's currently causing to our surroundings and actually to us as individuals. I think one of the major factors is where we're at is the fact that we don't actually, well, not we, but a lot of individuals don't really understand the immediate effects of climate change. So climate change in itself has these immediate effects that are affecting the farmers as at now, which we just mentioned that the Minister of Agriculture spoke about. But we also need to look at the medium-term effects and the long-term effects. Studies are showing that in the next 100 years, we will not have a world anymore, according to the effects of climate change. So we as Diversity Development are an organization that are coming together with various stakeholders to work on how we can increase awareness and look for more solutions or amplify the solutions that exist, scale up the solutions that exist to mitigate climate change effects. And across different sectors, as well as food security in the agriculture sector and many other sectors as well, because climate change is actually affecting every single sector, and it's affecting the lives of the individual Nigerians, which a lot of us are not currently very aware of. I won't say aware because we have the basic understanding, but we're not very aware of currently.
Okay, ma'am, thank you very much. Interestingly, I have this question also that the government is coming up with various policies to mitigate the effect of climate change. And our goal as a country here in Nigeria is to achieve a green economy. So I am asking you this question, that how realistic is it for us, to achieve the green economy?
Green economy holds an immense amount of opportunities for the average Nigerian and the world at large. I think it's an area that's under-tapped here in Nigeria. I think we need stakeholders, and say both the CSO and the private sector, to continue to work with the government to see how we can implement some of these policies, because I'm very big on saying that government is in the business of creating the policies, but when it comes to the implementation, when it comes to the actual initiatives that enhance the effectiveness of these policies, I think it's down to the private sector as well as the CSOs with their assistants. we were able to get the dividends of these policies. So the green economy, I want as many young people as possible to tap into this. This is a an immense wealth creation opportunity. We know what the unemployment rate is saying at the moment. And we know what entrepreneurship is currently like in Nigeria. You see a lot more graduates going along the entrepreneurship lines. So I feel if we're able to educate better on the green economy, we're able to invest more in research and development of various areas within this green economy. And then we're able to ensure that, when we see the one or two few organizations that take up this green economy direction, we're able to assist in coming together to scale it up and make sure that a lot more Nigerians can benefit from the dividends.
Thank you very much. So using Lagos as a major example, that it has been said that the sea level rise seems to be threatening Lagos at the moment. An analyst says the marsh will be breaking up soon. Also, our oceans are filled with plastic. So, ma'am, as someone who works closely with the government and that has an action plan, how can we manage or tackle and in fact stop the crisis from happening?
I love the fact that you mentioned Lagos State, because Lagos State is one of the states in Nigeria. I wouldn't say the best because I'm not allowed to say that, but it's one of the states that is driving amazing policies, in this particular secular sector, in this sustainability sector. It's very important that just as what we said before, the policies need to be in place first. So Lagos State, can be commended for the policies that they've been able to roll out, and for the way in which the different arms of government. I see the Ministry of Environment. I see collaborations between various different government agencies in Lagos State to ensure that these policies are being implemented and that these initiatives are being rolled out. I think Lagos State need to actually share their policy with the national level for each state to be able to use this as I won't say a guide, but I would actually say a guide that can be adapted to various states. What is important is that we understand the peculiarities from state to state. So Lagos State is surrounded with water, and hence the rise in the coastal levels. And there are some other states as well that have this as well. But there are other states that might not be their own problem. Their problem might actually come from the rainfall and the plastic of which you also mentioned, and there's deforestation. There's so many other issues that are affecting Nigerians. What is important, as we've said, is let the policy be in place. Let the private sector and the CSOs work together to implement these policies. So it's good that we've identified what the problems are, and once one knows what the problems are, then one can take it from there to ensure that we combat these problems. So awareness. We need to ensure that each person, each organization commits to, for instance, to reusing every plastic that they use. Submitting it to the industries that
recycles. Yes. All right. Thank you very much. So finally,
sorry.
No problem. Thank you very much. So finally, before we go, an analysis reveals that industrialized cities have contributed far more to the crisis than, the crisis that we experience today than developing ones. So how do you explain that? Looking at, or saying, using Lagos as a major example of an industrialized city.
Yes, of course. A lot of these emissions come from some of our major factories. That's where we're getting more of the air pollution. And as well, you need to understand that the deforestation as well comes from areas that need this land. And in needing the land, we need to clear, all the forests that exist in these areas. So where we at now? Where we are at is how we can get a lot of these industries involved in the renewable energy sector, how we can get them to ensure that the waste products are also converted back into energy. So we're looking at the biodiversity area. How can we ensure that whatever we're using or whatever we're so-called wasting is actually being turned back into something useful. We need to ensure that some of these industries, organizations commit to the climate change pledge, commit to some of their CSR areas to be used in this particular area. So I know a lot of organizations that are into afforestation, and they ensure that they plant enough trees and things like that. But we need more of it. We need more understanding. So we need more organizations to be climate aware. We also need more organizations to take action, because it's not just about being aware, but it's also very important for them to take action. So I've seen a lot of these renewable energy plants stemming up in different locations, and I think that's the way forward, especially now with the cost of fuel and everything. It's even the best time for these industries to ensure that they tap into this particular area.
Oh,
Transportation.
okay, thank you very much. So, you've been talking about awareness and sensitization. So, what are your, maybe you should just pick up a line to create an awareness message, ma'am.
Okay, so we are actually starting a climate change pledge, which is called Eco Nigeria, and that's available on our website. We are hoping to get at least 20 to 30 million Nigerians sign this Eco Nigeria pledge. And the Eco Nigeria pledge just increases awareness. So we're first of all concentrating on the increase of awareness, and then we're looking at the increase of research and development for our peculiar country. And I think that's the best that we can do. And I think we also need to understand that little drops of water make an ocean. So a lot of people feel that, I'm just a tiny person. What can I do to contribute to this contribute to mitigating the effects of climate change? And every little thing you do, deciding to walk instead of taking your car, deciding to recycle your plastic, deciding to turn off the light in one room when you're not using that particular room, contributes to ensuring that we have a better planet for a longer period of time. So more awareness.
Thanks for your contribution, ma'am. I am sure you'll come back, to share more insights on the climate change. Thanks for coming on the program. That's all we have for you. Let's move to the next story.